Hi, and welcome back to Relationship Reset Academy. I'm Michael Flynn, and for over 15 years, I've been helping couples navigate the toughest moments in their relationships. Today, we're tackling one of the most heartbreaking things you can hear from your husband: "I have no feelings for you anymore." What does it really mean? Is there hope to rebuild the love and connection? Let's unpack it together. And make sure you stay until the end, because I'll share a powerful mindset shift and practical strategy that could change the way you approach this challenge and your relationship for good. If you're ready to strengthen your marriage and regain that spark, be sure to subscribe to Relationship Reset Academy and hit the bell icon so you never miss the tools and advice to reset and rebuild your relationship. Let's get started. So, your husband says he has no feelings for you anymore. And I know what you're thinking. How could he say that? We've been through so much together. But here's something you need to understand: just because he says it doesn't mean it's true. Feelings change, they get buried, they can even go numb from time to time. But that doesn't mean they're gone forever. I know it feels like a punch to the gut, but before you spiral into panic, let's break this down and get to work on fixing it. Step 1. Take a deep breath. First things first, take a deep breath. I know, that probably sounds like the last thing you want to hear right now, especially when everything inside you is telling you to react, to do something. But here's the thing: in the heat of the moment, emotions run high, and that's when we're most likely to say or do things we regret later. Trust me, I've seen it time and time again. When someone says they've lost feelings, the immediate impulse is to panic, to get defensive, to cry, to demand answers. But when we approach a situation like this from a place of anxiety, it's almost like we're handing over control to the emotions that are overwhelming us. So, take a second to breathe. I'm not talking about just physically breathing in and out. I mean taking a pause, mentally stepping back for a moment. Think about it: when we step into fight or flight mode, we lose perspective. We get caught up in the "what now? What happened? What does this mean? Is this the end?" I get it. You want to know right now. You want to solve the problem, and you want to do it fast. But no problem gets solved in a rush. No problem gets solved with an emotional reaction that doesn't come from clarity. By breathing and calming yourself down, you allow yourself the chance to think clearly. You allow yourself to process, even just for a moment, what's actually going on. The truth is, this moment might be incredibly painful, but it's also an opportunity to regain control over your emotions and start thinking logically. I want you to ask yourself, what is really happening here? Is this something that's come up suddenly, or has there been a gradual buildup of distance or tension? Sometimes, when things feel off in a relationship, we can spend so much time in reaction mode that we forget to take stock of the entire situation. It's also possible that your husband doesn't even realize what he said, or the weight that it carries for you. People say things they don't mean all the time, especially when they're frustrated, overwhelmed, or feeling disconnected. It could be that he's not fully aware of the impact his words are having on you right now. Taking a step back doesn't mean ignoring the problem. It means giving yourself the mental space to handle it better. Now, once you feel like you've calmed down a bit, that's when you start thinking about the next steps with clarity. But for now, let the breath work its magic. It's like hitting reset on your brain, giving you a fresh slate to approach this whole thing. Step 2. Address the root cause. Alright, now that you've taken that deep breath and steadied yourself, it's time to face the tough part: getting to the why behind what he said. I know that's not easy. It can feel like opening a can of worms, but it's essential if you want to move forward in the right direction. When someone says they have no feelings anymore, it's often a symptom of something deeper. It's not the real issue. Feelings don't just disappear overnight. There's always a reason behind it. And that's what we need to get to. But here's the thing: this isn't about putting him on the defensive. You don't want to turn this into an interrogation. You're not trying to catch him in a lie or get him to apologize right away. You're trying to understand where he's coming from and what's really going on in his heart. It's about figuring out what's led to this moment of emotional disconnect, and that means being patient, calm, and open-minded in the process. Start by sitting down together in a neutral setting where you won't be interrupted. No phones, no distractions. Just the two of you, eye to eye. Approach him gently. Use language that invites him to open up. Say something like, "I've been feeling a lot of distance between us lately, and I really want to understand what's going on. Can we talk about what's happening?" Remember, you're not accusing him of anything. You're not pointing fingers. You're just seeking to understand. What you're really trying to do here is get him to open up. Don't pressure him, but let him know that you're ready and willing to listen, without judgment, without interruptions. At this point, I'm sure you've got a million questions running through your mind. Why did he say that? What does it mean for your future together? But resist the urge to ask all those questions at once. Focus on the main issue, what led him to feel this way. Listen carefully to his response, even if it stings. Sometimes people say they have no feelings because they feel unheard, neglected, or unimportant. It might not even be about you specifically. It could be about how he's feeling within the relationship, or even in his own life outside of it. You won't know unless you ask. And the only way to ask effectively is by creating a space where he feels safe enough to be honest. Once you understand the cause, then and only then can you start working toward healing it. By the way, if you want to explore more strategies on how to communicate better and rebuild that emotional bond, visit romancedictionary.com/marriage. It's packed with tips that can seriously help you get your relationship back on track. The link is in the pop-up here and in the description below. Step 3. Reignite the connection. Now comes the exciting part. Reigniting that connection. Relationships, especially long-term ones, tend to fall into routines. The initial excitement fades, and we stop putting in the effort. Sometimes we're so focused on everything else, work, kids, house chores, life, that we forget to nurture the one person who matters the most. And that's when feelings start to slip away. But here's the key, it's never too late to reconnect. Never. It's not about making huge, dramatic gestures. It's about the small, everyday actions that show him you still care. Reconnection isn't a one-time event, it's a process, and it starts with you. If your husband has lost his feelings for you, it's probably because he feels a gap between the two of you. The emotional bond has weakened. But here's the thing, emotional bonds are like muscle memory. They can be rebuilt, but it takes consistent effort and attention. Start small. Spend more time with him, but make that time quality time. Put away your phones, turn off the TV, and have a real conversation. Ask him about his day, his thoughts, his hopes, and genuinely listen. Too often, we wait for our partners to open up, but we don't create the environment that invites them to do so. You've got to lead by example here. Next, find ways to show affection. It might seem silly, but little gestures go a long way. A hand on his shoulder, a kiss on the cheek, a loving look across the room, these all matter more than you think. Physical affection is a huge part of rekindling intimacy. But don't just focus on physical touch, try emotional touch too. Reaffirm your emotional support for him. Let him know you believe in him, and you're there for him. But don't expect these changes to make everything magically better overnight. Emotional reconnection takes time. What matters is that you're consistent. And as you work on these small gestures, remember that they're not just for him, they're for you, too. You're building a relationship that you deserve. And every small effort, every moment of connection, will bring you closer. Step 4. Take care of yourself. Alright, let's talk about something really important here, you. Yes, you. I know, right now, it might feel like everything is about your husband, your relationship, your feelings. But here's the truth, you can't rebuild a relationship if you've neglected yourself. And I'm not talking about self-care in the usual sense. I mean taking the time to really focus on yourself, your needs, and your happiness. When we're in relationships, especially ones that are going through a tough time, we can forget that we're individuals, too. And let me tell you something, when you start taking care of yourself, it has a ripple effect. When you focus on your own growth, it makes you a stronger, more attractive partner. And that strength, that confidence, is magnetic. So, make time for the things that bring you joy. Remember the hobbies, passions, or activities you used to love. Do them again. Rediscover your own identity outside of the relationship. This doesn't mean neglecting your marriage, it means adding value to it by being your best self. When your husband sees you focused, happy, and energized, it'll remind him of the reasons he fell in love with you in the first place. Also, focus on your emotional well-being. Practice gratitude, surround yourself with positive energy, and find ways to stay grounded. The healthier and happier you are, the more you'll be able to contribute to a healthier and happier relationship. When you take care of yourself, it shows. And trust me, your husband will notice. He'll see that you're invested in your own growth and well-being, and that can reignite his feelings, too. Now, I know this can all sound overwhelming, but remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. You and your husband can work through this. It's possible to bring those feelings back, and it starts with you. So, take a deep breath, identify the root cause, reignite that connection, and take care of yourself along the way. If you're ready to dive deeper and find out more ways to rebuild your marriage, visit romancedictionary.com/marriage. Trust me, it's a game changer. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe to the Relationship Reset Academy and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Leave a comment below telling me what's going on with you. I'd love to hear your story, and I'll personally reply to your comments. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description for even more resources to help you reset your relationship. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep working on that relationship,